people automatically assume he had to have done something. Because you hear how everybody would, you get this role in Hollywood, you had to have done something. So now all of a sudden, my podcast is moving up the ranks.
What you do?
So people automatically assume, man, look here. Man, I don't play like that. I don't. I've never been propositioned. I've never been approached. Real stable at home situation to understand. I got meetings, I got study, I got to train, the way I eat, the way I sleep. I have to understand that. Now, if he's willing to pay that price, there's a price to be paid for greatness. There's a price to be paid for success. And if you're not willing to pay that price, you don't deserve to be successful. You don't deserve to be great. So the question that Cam is going to have to himself, and only he can answer, not his dad, not his mom, not his handlers, only Cam, is that for some reason people come to me and I don't look at them with judgy eyes. I have no predetermined notion or preconceived notions, and they open up to me.
Right.
That's what they're upset about, because if you look at a lot of these people that's been on other podcasts, they don't do the views that they do when they come on.
Let me tell you about the tea that's spilling all over Hollywood right now. Katt Williams, that pint-sized comedian with a big mouth, just did something that's got everyone talking, and it's all about Shannon Sharpe, football legend turned talk show host. Now, you might be thinking, what's the connection? Well, Chile, that's where things get juicy. See, Shannon Sharpe got himself into some hot water recently. The streets are saying he got canceled, but we don't know all of the details yet. But here's the kicker: Katt Williams, of all people, is stepping up to defend him. Can you believe it? It's like, who saw that coming? This whole situation is shaking up Tinseltown, and everyone's wondering what it means for cancel culture. Is Katt about to change the game? Are we seeing a new alliance forming? The drama. And we're here for it, girl.
For Comedy Hype News, I'm John Abba. As a Black reporter, am I not allowed to interview Black guests who share their experiences with other Black talents, or even criticize Black talent? Are we wrong for the job for sharing the story despite our counterparts like CNN, MSNBC, who understand the position of being a platform? Now, you might hear Trump speak out about certain Democrats, and the following day you might hear those same Democrats respond, and no one decides to boycott CNN by simply being a platform. You see, this week, while appearing as a guest on Cam Newton's Funky Friday podcast, Shannon Sharpe would talk about his infamous Katt Williams interview, which is now the most viewed podcast interview in YouTube history, sitting at just over 70 million viewers. Now, during the conversation, Sharpe told Newton that,
again, because Katt Williams said this is going to break the internet or something like that, he said, and Shannon didn't believe it. He was kind of shocked, like, what, you think so? I don't think so. Yeah, took over 2024. Literally was like a ripple effect for a lot of things that are going on now.
Katt predicted the interview would catapult Sharpe onto a higher level. In addition to predicting the success of the interview, Katt would also issue a warning to Sharpe, saying that it will now be harder to secure certain guests for Club Shay Shay.
He said, now they're going to come for you. I said, Katt, come for me for what? I didn't say anything.
Right.
He said, they're going to come, and they're going to say a lot of different things, and they're going to be some people that you thought you might be able to get that they're not going to come now. That's absolutely has happened. They were so excited. Thanks for reaching out. We can't wait to sit down. A day later, they can't do it, and then no call. They won't follow, so forth and so on.
Dang.
Sharpe said he understood what comes with getting an interview of that magnitude, but he did not expect all the negativity.
I guess, the whole thing about Katt exposing the truth, and a lot of people were probably tied into that truth he was talking about, so, hey, he called it. Katt a real one. You got to weed all the fake ones out of there. So, hey, Shannon thought people were rocking with him, and I guess not.
That was attached. Sharpe will go on and mention that some of his industry peers that he was cordial with also took shots at him publicly due to the success of the interview. Okay, let's go back to the interview. If you remember, Steve Harvey, who was roasted by Katt Williams in the Shannon Sharpe interview, and Dia Hughley, who was shown respect by Katt in that same interview, were two comedians who publicly shamed Shannon Sharpe for participating in a negative interview. Hughley would even go as far as to call Sharpe Wendy Williams with muscles due to the drama-filled conversation he was beginning to host on his podcast. Sharpe would say if Katt Williams was mic'd up from the moment he stepped out the car until he sat down, the interview would have reached 100 million viewers. Sharpe also revealed that he had been trying to book Katt for an interview for a year before he finally accepted. It wasn't until Sharpe bumped into a woman who later revealed herself to be Katt's new tour manager that he was able to get Katt on his podcast a week later. What Shannon Sharpe is experiencing has...
Why do y'all think that is? I mean, I know people be extremely busy and stuff, but like, besides that, because I think it'd be like more to it. I just don't know what, like, why people don't. Is it, do they feel like some of the questions? Because you can sit down and talk about like what you don't want to talk about. And if they try to ask a question or something, you don't necessarily have to answer. So, because trying to get somebody for a whole year, man, that's a long time.
You won't believe the mess Shannon Sharpe got himself into. The streets are talking, and honey, they're saying our boy Shannon stepped in it big time. But what really went down? Let me spill all the tea. So, picture this: Shannon's doing his thing, living his best life when bam, cancel culture comes knocking at his door. Now, you might be thinking, what did he do? Chile, that's the million-dollar question everyone's asking. On the street, folks are saying Shannon said something on his show that rubbed people the wrong way. You know how it is these days: one wrong word, and suddenly you're public enemy number one. The internet went wild, and before he knew it, Cancel Shannon Sharpe was trending faster than a Kardashian scandal. But here's the thing: nobody seems to know exactly what he said. It's like playing a game of telephone where everyone's heard something different. Some folks are saying he dissed a fellow athlete. Others swear he made an inappropriate joke. The tea is scalding hot, but it's all over the place. Now, you know how these things go. The media caught wind of it, and suddenly Shannon's face was plastered all over the news. Twitter was blowing up, Instagram was on fire, and even TikTok got in on the action. It was like watching a car crash in slow motion. You couldn't look away even if you wanted to.
Bumped into a woman who later revealed herself to be Katt's new tour manager that he was able to get Katt on his podcast a week later. What Shannon Sharpe is experiencing has felt to be something we've experienced over the last years as a platform dedicated to Black comedy. In all of my experience of doing this, comedian Earthquake to me appeared to have gotten it right. Years ago, I interviewed his ex-wife in hopes to give a more in-depth look at his life, along with something that would catch viewers' attention, and it may have looked like an attempt to make Earthquake look bad. Now, outside of that speculation, we knew the honor system within reporting stories like this is that you always open the door for the other person to respond, and we did. And instead of denying to speak to us, Earthquake respectfully accepted the interview and voiced his concerns with the interview during his interview with us. That was it. Simply how a platform should be used. Both sides are able to share their point of view, nothing personal, we understood our roles, and on to the next story. And relatively 3 years later, I would join Earthquake in Los Angeles at a dinner table to help celebrate his comedy special with Netflix and Dave Chappelle. So to the Black entertainers who choose to take things so personally when it comes to reporting on their lives as public figures, please understand that we are simply here to tell a story. You have to let us do our job. You see, when CNN decided to interview Osama bin Laden in 1997 after he would publicly declare jihad against the United States of America, did people stop watching or interviewing with CNN? D.L. Hughley has been on CNN many of times over the years. In fact, in 2008, he would even have his own show with a network called D.L. Hughley Breaks the News. So DL, a terrorist is more excusable than a comedian who decides to air out a few fellow comedians?
Yeah, that ain't gonna lie, that's pretty crazy. Ain't gonna lie, that's pretty crazy. Yeah. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. He's saying he's giving a platform for people to come there and tell the truth, you know, like, and if somebody got a problem with it, they can come on there too. You know, hell, both of y'all come on at the same time.
It's hypocritical. My perspective is some of us feel conflicted when they see others doing good, especially if they didn't need our help to get there. At the end of the day, you not supporting these outlets and running to white outlets only exposes your inferiority complex and needing of white society to co-sign you to make you feel validated. Good boy. Is that what you want to hear? Now, black talent needs black media, and black media needs black talent. And the more we collaborate with each other, the stronger we can both grow and learn along the way. D.L. Hughley, the door continues to be open for you to come on our platform to share your perspective and even respond to my position. This is how true platforms work. So what do you guys think about Shannon Sharpe's reveal that it's harder to get guests to come on his podcast after his Katt Williams interview? Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Plus, stay up to date for the latest news in comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel and follow Comedy Hype across all social media. And plus, check out hypersclub.com for some cool memberships and original content. For Comedy Hype News, I'm John Abba.
So, man, that's crazy. Dude getting backlash because of the truth came out. You know, my whole thing is this. You know, Shannon Sharpe may not get the people that he may want to be on the show, but he'll probably still get the people he need to be on there. You know? Because I feel like a lot of people may come on there. Like, I know Ray J was on there, and I seen like a clip. It was so weird. Like, well, it's like you could tell that he was media trained because he was ducking and dodging questions. I mean, ducking and dodging. But like, Katt Williams said there'll be no D.L. Hughley slander. So he didn't even say nothing about D.L. But like D.L. Hughley is always on, I know he's been on a few times, been on DJ Vlad's show or podcast or whatever. And I know it was some stuff going on with DJ Vlad, so I don't know. But that CNN clip was pretty crazy. Wow. I don't know, man. It's like, you know, this brother's been grinding to get to I think Shannon Sharpe was just grinding. I don't even think he was trying to like get on top. He was just trying to get into space and, you know, show that he's part of the culture, because he's a football player, you know, Hall of Famer, champion, all that stuff, you know. But I mean, he's talking about music, he's talking about comedy, all this stuff, man. So I don't know, man. I just feel like, you know, he does a really good job of letting people talk, has great questions, and, you know, I just feel like a lot of people are being hypocritical, you know. Because, like I said, Katt came over there, said what he said, and a lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people loved it. So that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Dang.
Poor Shannon, poor Shannon. His career took a hit faster than you can say touchdown sponsors were pulling out left and right, and there were whispers about his future on TV. It's like 1 minute you're on top of the world, and the next you're scrambling to save your reputation. But here's where it gets real, this whole mess with Shannon's got people talking about cancel culture in sports and entertainment. Like, are we too quick to cancel folks these days? Is it fair that one slip-up can tank someone's whole career? Some people are saying it's about time celebrities were held accountable, while others are crying foul, saying we've gone too far. It's like the whole world is divided, and Shannon's caught right in the middle of it all. And you know what's really wild? This isn't even the first time something like this has happened in the sports world. Remember when that other athlete got canceled for their tweets from like a decade ago? Like, nobody's safe. The craziest part is that we still don't know all the details. It's like trying to put together a puzzle with half the pieces missing. But one thing's for sure, Shannon Sharpe's life got turned upside down faster than you can say touchdown. So, here we are, watching this drama unfold like it's the latest reality TV show. Will Shannon bounce back? Is his career over for good? And what does this mean for other celebs out there? Girl, I don't know about you, but I'm staying glued to my screen to see how this all plays out.
A lot of times, Cam, I don't even know. I didn't know that it was going to go viral. A lot of these clips that go viral. I remember when I did Cam, I remember getting up and I turned back and I look at my Katt, and I look at my producer and he's shaking his head. I'm like, oh man, we done messed up. So I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah.
Did I say something? Did he? He like, this is gonna be the talk of 24.
No way.
I'm like, you think so? He's He's like, Shannon. And he's looking at me just like I'm looking at you, Cam. He's like, Shannon, this is gonna be viral for the whole year. I said, come on, man. I said, so I'm thinking at that point in time, Steve Harvey is my biggest viewed, is my most viewed podcast. He's at 8 million. I said, you think we're gonna beat Steve? He's like, yeah. I'm hoping for 10 million.
Yeah.
That's all, Cam, if I get 10 million, I'm like, that's a pretty good interview.
Yeah.
Think about how few people that's in this space that interview people that don't get 10 million.
For sure.
So if I get 10 million, that's one of the biggest podcasts. Now, that's not Joe Rogan's numbers, but that's pretty good for an up-and-coming podcast. Right. So I felt good. Man. But here's the thing I tell people, if I'd have had Katt mic'd up from the time he got out of the truck until the time he sat down, it'd have done 100 million. Oh, he was on it. He was on it.
Listen, first off, we're gonna get to Katt, but what is it to say about your podcast or your platform if your talent rollout has never really told? Because it happened to me all the time, or it happened to me multiple times when somebody said, hey bro, I appreciate if we don't talk about blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And it comes by way of a male or even a female.
Yes.
We're not talking about this from a journalist, from a publicist, or a supporting cast.
Right.
It happens all the time.
Yes.
And if you haven't had that, I got news for your sister. I got news for your brother. You ain't popping the way you think you are.
Right.
Because when you got a rollout of Katt Williams, Cam Newton, Marshawn Lynch,
Monique.
Like everybody, Monique, when you go down the list of Steve Harvey, like these are big deals.
Right.
In the entertainment,
Right.
Space. Of course it's gonna come with, I would appreciate it if we're not talking about blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, one thing that I do respect about Katt, he came with a lot of receipts.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as if I'm looking at an iPad to keep me on track. Man, his mental focus throughout the whole thing was so admirable, because I'm like, yo, no, you said this about this person, or that person said that, and
he
it
had
wasn't
studied
it.
Katt. He had studied every interview that I had done, conversation I had, he had studied. Because a lot of things that we didn't mention on the show, he was talking about it but if you notice, he was like, he was doing that, he did this a lot. So his recall, everything that somebody had said, that he had a question, it didn't happen like that. Because I asked Said, Katt once accused you of stealing a joke. Said, I didn't steal the joke because the timeline doesn't match up. And I think he said something to the effect, if you look at how his joke ended, how mine ended. Katt came back, he refuted that. I want credibility. I want people to be able to share their story without me interrupting. I think sometimes people in our position that do what you and I do, they want to hear their voice instead of the guest. Well, I can go home and hear myself talk if I wanted to, if that's what I wanted to hear. I think for the most part that people tune in to watch my pod because they want to hear what the guests have to say. I let the guests speak. People say, well, you push back on Amanda Seales. And all I said was, Amanda, did you think being a child, correcting a teacher in front of the students, could it have been something else other than racism? That's all. And people lost it. Well, you didn't push back. I asked Monique. Monique said Oprah asked her to interview for a role, to go read for a role. She went and read for the role. Oprah ended up getting the role. I said, Mo, did you ever think they were looking for a heavyset black woman? And it wasn't because the industry was against you.
Right.
She said, my brother, I didn't think about it like that. But see, they don't mention that.
Right.
Because that wouldn't, I've got to try to do something to try to quell this momentum that this wave that Shannon is riding. So any way I can try to undercut him or to make him look like I'm not a journalist. I never told anybody I was a journalist. I said I'm a conversationalist. But what people are upset about is that for some reason people come to me and I don't look at them with judgy eyes. I have no predetermined notion or preconceived notions, and they open up to me.
Right.
That's what they're upset about. Because if you look at a lot of these people that's been on other podcasts, they don't do the views that they do when they come on Club Shay Shay.
Correct.
How were we just talking about Shannon Sharpe's drama? Well, hold on to your wigs because Katt Williams just entered the chat, and he's not playing around. The streets are buzzing with Katt's bold move to back Shannon. It's like 1 minute we're all vibing about Shannon's fall from grace, and the next, Katt's stepping up like a knight in shining armor. But why? That's what everyone's dying to know. So here's the Katt Williams, yeah. That pint-sized comedian with the big mouth just came out swinging for Shannon Sharpe. He's all like, why all need to back off my boy Shannon? It's like watching a real-life plot twist in a juicy TV drama. You might be wondering, what's Katt's angle here? Chili, that's the million-dollar question. Some folks are saying Katt and Shannon go way back, like secret besties or something. Others are whispering that Katt's just trying to stir up some drama for himself. You know how he loves the spotlight. But let's break it down for a sec. Katt ain't no fool. He knows what he's doing. By backing Shannon, he's basically putting his own rep on the line. It's like he's saying, if why all are coming for Shannon, you've got to come through me first. Some ride or die energy right there.
Because that's a testament to you and the environment or the atmosphere that you give.
Yes.
It's very comfortable. People want to render their story in a way where, like you say, you let them talk. But also being into this person that you've become, more equipment or artillery is being shot at you.
Yeah.
Amanda Seals, you being insensitive after wherever, whoever. They even say Club Shay Shay done turned into a message show. He cooning. He ain't for the people. You see what I'm saying?
I do. And I don't have anything bad to say about Amanda. I thought we had a great time. I'm sorry that once we aired what we aired, I mean, she was there for 3 hours. I'm sorry that she didn't feel like she got an opportunity to say what she wanted to get off her chest. I probably was one of the few that gave her an opportunity to share her story, to say her side. I didn't cut her off when she said what she said about Issa Rae and said some of the other things that she had said. I let her speak but just the one time I was like, and Cam, you and I and maybe it's because I'm from the South, but correcting a teacher, even if the teacher was wrong, what?
Man, listen.
I'm like, they do that? They allowed, and so that was my only thing. Other than that, I let her speak freely. I didn't say anything about that. I didn't say anything when she said the guy, like, I said, you're a revolutionary N, and she got reprimanded and she had to apologize. I could have said, well, Amanda, had he said you're a revolutionary B, how would you have felt? See, you can't automatically assume just because you're the same race, everybody responds to that N-word the exact same.
Correct.
So you have to be careful, especially in a professional setting. Right. Now, if we had the cookout, I might call you the N-word. I might call you the N all day. Right. But you have to understand the settings in which you're in and what you can and can't say.
Let me tell you what you didn't know. I caught a stray from that interview.
Did you?
Definitely did. Because the truth of the matter is, Amanda Seals spoke in regards to Issa Rae. I had already shot Issa Rae.
Okay.
The trajectory of that interview of Club Shay Shay made Issa and her team not want to put out our show. So I have not put out of respect. Oh, that's what you didn't know. But that's just, I mean, it's a domino effect.
Yes.
Knowing what I know now, I wish your interview would have happened.
Yeah.
And then she would have had an opportunity to speak up. Because I see from Issa's side as well as just, it was image control.
Right.
We don't want to look
you
at
have a go back and
correct, because that interview, when we did Issa's interview, Amanda's interview, I'm not sure when you guys posted it or shot it. It wasn't posted yet.
Right.
So I didn't want to do her a disservice.
Right.
But with that being said, Issa Rae, please.
And if this cat's not just throwing out some vague support, he's out here spilling deep.
Folks, that's all for today. Let us know what you really think about this saga. I will see you in the next one. Take care.